Welcome back to another session of working on the whole 10-ton military tractor. I've been busy today doing a little cleaning. Last time you saw us scrape and needle scale a little bit and scrape some more, but today is such a nice day I decided to come out and let you take a look at me, see if you can guess what I've been doing. And I've been pressure washing. So I'll put some before pictures up here in just a second. But got the first washing done. I didn't get crazy with it. I did spray some degreaser on it, and it's amazing how much better it looks now. It's still a long way to go, but a whole lot better than it was. And I found some interesting things while I was cleaning. I don't know if you can see it too good, but there's orange paint on the tracks. So not sure where that came from, unless it was off a municipal tractor at some point in time, but I don't think so. See lots of gray paint in there that you couldn't see before. And on the engine it looks green. You can see the military green on it, and the brass kind of popped out on the water tube there, and the magneto mount. The track undercarriage cleaned up pretty good. A lot of green and gray paint still. Don't know how far I'm going to take that. I'm probably just going to leave that like it is. Still got quite a bit more up here around the front of the engine to clean, but got the belly pan. Scraped that mess off, and the pressure washer still didn't touch it too good, so cleaned up, in between the jugs there. That was just piled full of grease and crap and raccoon turds and everything else you can imagine. Radiator, wasn't in bad shape, but got all the dirt out of it. Did find something pretty interesting. I've got some writing down here on this track frame, and I haven't tried to read it yet, but get you in there to look at it. Not sure what it says, but it was underneath the dirt and grease and grime, so I'll translate that here in a little bit. But the undercarriage turned out pretty good. A lot of gray paint. These I assume were gray from the factory to begin with. This was probably the worst area as far as grease and build-up of junk. But something we hadn't shown before was the military tractors had a speedometer. That gives you an idea of what that looks like. Tried to clean up around the brake bands and such. But I'll probably hose it off one more time and then blow it off with the air and let that be good for now. But got some other surprises I'll show you here in just a little bit. But anyway, we'll come back to you here in a few minutes and give you an update and show you some of the other things we've been working on. Well, I got it back inside and blew most of the water off. It looks pretty good considering it hadn't been cleaned since 1918, I imagine. Still little areas that I'd like to get a little better, but all in all, I'd say it's awful good. We'll let the rest of the crew decide. Let me show you some of the things we've been working on. We've got the seat taken apart, of course, and Daddy's been working on the seat part. I found out what this is for. I looked and looked and looked and finally found a picture. That actually goes around a shovel handle on the back of the seat, and there's a strap that goes in the middle that would hold the shovel back there. And I've picked up a shovel, but it doesn't have that same round end there. But we noticed that the seat frame actually was a frame on top of another frame. And so Daddy's building that part, and we hadn't made the seat frame yet. But here's the original buckles. Looks like a belt buckle, but what this was a strap that went over the cushion to hold the cushion in place. One there and one for that side too. But he's got it at the house where he's been working on it. One thing I've been working on is this sediment bowl, I guess we'll call it. Comes out of the fuel tank. Auxiliary tank goes here, and then that goes to your carburetor. It was all corroded up, pretty bad shape. Got it cleaned up. There was a crack on the backside. I brazed it up. Inside here, this screws off, and there's a screen there that acts as your filter. And then I had to remachine this stud where this valve's on. And I got to thinking, I was like, I remember seeing a handle over there. So I went and dug around in some of the dirt that we'd scraped off, and sure enough, that little handle was in there, and I cleaned it up. Anyway, you can read what it says there. I didn't want to sandblast it or glass beat it, but it was in such bad shape I had to get it clean, and I had to lap these pitcocks or these valves in, this one and this one, to get it to seal off. But got that finished up, and then there was one more in the fuel line. It was in such bad shape I had to blast it and lap this piece in, add a new washer and that kind of stuff. But
what are we looking at, Dad?
All right, so this is what our focus of today is the storage box that went on the side of the tractor. And for reference, we have these photographs. This box here is what we're recreating. So it's slightly, here's the fuel tank, and you could just see from a plane across here, this is slightly lower or smaller than the fuel box, so we didn't replicate it exact because we do have that. So based on the number of rivets and the general scale of things, we decided to make it 16 deep, 16 tall, and it's 4 foot because that looked about right. It was hard to judge that. But
16 inches, right? Indeed.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, not 16 feet.
Well, yeah. But.
So I counted the rivets, and on this picture, evidently they had 2 models or versions. This particular picture shows bent angles for this support. Ours has a radius, and I later found another picture that showed the radius support. And on that one, the rivets were evenly spaced all the way down. But I'd already drilled all the holes. This one, for whatever reason, they skipped where the supports were. There's little gaps in the rivets, so I replicated that. But anyway, nobody's gonna know the difference. The latches will go here. There's the hinges, of course.
You just explained to me that you couldn't find any pictures with the hinges in it. So what made you choose these hinges?
Well, this is just you look in old barn buildings and stuff back in the period. The hinge design of this really hadn't changed, other than a blacksmith may have forged the plates out instead of stamped plates. But I imagine on this it was stamped because they were mass producing. But anyway, the fuel box has rivets in it about the same diameter of head, so I'm just replicating that. So we'll put those in and hot rivet them in, but we can take the lid off. So you got to have something tied all together. Now I did tack weld this one in just because I wasn't going to rivet all that. But anyway, nobody will know except you YouTube followers. So I've got the holes drilled. We've got these bolts in here just temporary, holding it together in place. So we'll pop a few rivets in and then take the bolts out, of course, and finish riveting there. But so our process will be, we'll put a couple rivets in our oven, let them heat up, and then we won't put many because it heats so quick. We probably won't, they'll melt them before we get them all in place. But once they're hot, we'll slip them into the hole with pair of pliers, and then we've got this tool that will hold against this rivet, and then we'll take this air hammer and hopefully mushroom the inside to make it look just like this side. Now on the fuel box, they didn't really do a dome interior. It was more flat.
So how would you seal it if it's just flat?
Well, if it's flat, it just mushroom out. So instead of having this dish, it'll be just flat across it if we wanted to do that. But we're gonna try a few like that, see how it looks, and then make a decision if we want to carry on or change our method a little bit. So anyway, that's where we are. So we'll get set up and show you the process once we get started. I assume it still works.
What do you do if it don't work?
And we'll use a torch.
Is it hot yet?
Not yet.
I thought you said this thing was quick.
Wash pot never boils.
You need safety glasses?
Safety glasses. Some over there.
I was like, dude, we need them.
Yeah, there's some right there.
So yes. I was just curious.
Safety first.
This thing's not gonna catch on fire, is it?
No.
Being so old.
No.
Alright, so it's been about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna try one. We don't know if it's hot enough or not yet, but we're gonna try it and see what it's like. But when it's hot, it expands.
Ain't hot enough.
Nope. The second it touches the metal, it loses all color.
That ain't, it's too deep. It's too deep. See, the edge of that hit the angle iron. See how this works.
Oh, the very bottom corner? Oh, no.
Oh.
Ready?
All right. Ain't quite working. We're going to have to heat up with a torch, I think.
I guess as long as like 4 are good, it should be fine, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not quite turning out how we wanted them nor expected them, but like I said earlier, as long as like 4 are pretty good and
No, we want them all good.
somewhere near the corners. Well, we're not doing a very good job. I'm not doing a very good job. Oh, that's ugly. Okay, so we got pretty much all of this plate except for where we have the temporary bolts holding it in. So we're going to take those out right now. The outside looks pretty good, and the inside is debatable. But we got about halfway through on this plate, but we decided to go ahead and start taking these bolts out, re-drill the holes, and then we can finish with this end.
Tell you what, let's try something different.
Flipping it.
Lay it on its side.
Okay, so we went ahead and flipped it over so it'd be easier to get to the ones here on the top and along the bottom. We don't have to worry about any funky angles. Hopefully it'll be easier. So we're gonna try it like this. Papa, what you been doing all morning?
Working on this thing. You have to wait till we get it put together before you can talk about it. The top, this part right here, is all white oak. And so it won't rot. And of course the uprights will eventually get bolted into here.
And that holds the seat back on, right?
That's the seat back, which I gotta make. And the bottom is white oak, whereas over here it was pine. Now the frame is cherry wood, because that was some wood, and the front of it, outside here, is ash, white ash. So anyway.
Now is all of this new wood?
All this is new old wood. It grew in a tree for 100 years.
So it's not brand new wood?
It's not brand new wood.
Right.
It's been newly machined and sanded and fitted. But
it's so pretty.
and we got to drill this hole, big hole, and the little holes that hold everything on there.
What's the big hole for?
The oil tank.
That's
goes
where
sits
the
over there
oil tank goes out.
to lubricate the tracks.
Now see, I made this piece, I made it a little bit different. Because I made a complete frame
Yeah.
around, because there was nothing at the back for this to set on. So that's why I was confused. So I made a complete frame here.
Yeah, that's better.
And
This
so
piece
that
here.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
piece right here. So the seat will sit on here, you know.
Yeah.
And of course then there's in the picture, there's a hand hole that goes up from here.
Yeah.
You can see that in the picture, wherever our picture is.
That's up there.
And this end, Eli, is mortise and tenon type. See that where it fits right in there?
Mhm.
It's got some temporary glue, but actually this screw right here is through both pieces. So it's
Oh.
holding that so it can't come apart.
Mhm.
And of course this is going to this side where, you know, the little variations in assembly is not going to be seen because it's beside the tank.
Mhm.
So that's what
Yeah, our YouTubers will see it.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a piece of cable and put some 1/2-inch nuts on it.
Yeah, we can do that.
And distress the wood.
Yeah, we can distress the wood, and I'm thinking we'll try, but we might want to finish it with used motor oil.
Yeah. And this is where the shovel will mount.
That's not quite the same, right handle, is it?
No, that's the wrong handle, but that is a 1918 World War I trench shovel.
Well, where'd you get it from?
I bought it online.
Oh, okay.
And I've got a 1918 water bucket.
Ooh.
They put water in this and towed it and filled the radiator, but it's July 1918.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you gonna make the seat next? The actual cushions?
Yeah, we'll work on it. Well, actually, the reason I didn't put this because I wasn't 100% sure how it went without having the other one. But we got to bore holes in this for the big hole, and then the little holes, and do all that sort of stuff. I thought I'd do that here because we have the pattern, the immediate pattern.
It's a lot easier to measure and
Yeah,
figure
no,
out.
because you know when I put this in here, I knew what it was, but then I forgot. You know, I was working on it, and I didn't have enough details at the time. Yeah, these are genuine slotted metal screws. What's called slotted.
Yeah.
That's what they had. And they didn't have Phillips head screws or torque head screws in 1918.
And they came out of a bucket that was your great granddaddy's.
Yeah.
So those screws are 70 years old, at least.
They just got a shine to them.
Well, they were never used.
Oh, so they were that you didn't polish them up or anything?
No, that's just
Okay.
it. And matter of fact, these screws right here, I think, you know, we found some longer screws in that same thing. I think I'm going to take these out and put longer screws because that's what
That's your back.
supports the back. Although I think there's oh, wait a minute. There must be 6 screws from the bottom holding this up, trying to keep this, because when you lean against the back, it's going to be beating up against it. But that's why I'm thinking that the handrail that's going to bolt on the inside right here goes up and makes to the back.
Yeah.
You don't want it slightly leaning back?
Well, it's going to lean back. The angle of this board right here is on a 5-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is not perpendicular. This is on a 5-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
So that the back will be there. Well, when it gets up here at the top, and as far as I can remember,
We'll bend this back straight up right here.
yeah,
About halfway up the piece, you'll bend it.
Well, the width of the back board on the back.
yeah.
Oh. So, Papa, earlier you mentioned putting some used motor oil on the wood. What would that do?
Well, it's like what we did on the 60. We had white oak, the steps and stuff, and so I distressed it. You know, I took a file and marked it up like it was old wood, and then I soaked it with motor oil, which gave it a antique look. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do here. But I've got to get some old dirty motor oil would be good, because oil would soak into the wood and it'd resist water, mm-hmm. and it would give it a dark finish. You know. More along the lines of that dark finish. I mean,
except it'll be not rotten wood.
Yeah, not rotten wood. So we want it to look old, but not be old. That's what we're after. You see right here, this is all I had to go on as far as that rounded piece that we've got on the piece, mm-hmm. and then an angle, and see it goes up here, and then it's straight. You can see it goes straight back, and then
you can kind of see a bend there.
Yeah, you can see the bend, and of course. In measure, I knew that the height of this piece was 8 inches. Mm-hmm. So I took a scale and said, well, okay, this one and that one in the picture is the same size. So it's bound to be 8 inches. This is close to about half that, so that's 4 inches. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we knew the length of it. Although the board was wrought, we knew the length of it. So I made the frame an inch shorter. In other words, the finish size is 45 inches. So the cherry frame was 43 inches long, and of course the depth. So everything else is working off of just scaling what is there. Now you can see that center handrail right here.
Yeah.
That goes up, and one over here. Now I think we have another picture of either a later unit or whatever, but this rail ties into this upright, mm-hmm. which will make a stronger support for that back. So I think we should deviate from this a little bit, enough that it comes back and it goes up.
Mm-hmm. Now, all right, I see in the picture there are the leather straps here holding the cushion on.
Yeah, well,
replicate that too?
Oh yeah, we're going to go to the leather store and get a belt and bolt it on back here, and bolt it and put the straps, because see, our old piece has the strap in the front.
Mm-hmm. It just doesn't have the actual leather.
It doesn't have the actual leather, so we're going to. This is a Caterpillar 10-ton out of a catalog, and see, it shows the handrail going up and attaching to the back. Mm-hmm. So whereas the picture we're working off of, it doesn't attach. So I think it needs support, and maybe because this is a little bit later. See, this is for a Caterpillar 10-ton from Caterpillar Tractor. So this was after the merger in 1925. So the difference between, we're going to say a 1918, they did recognize the problems with this being upright. Mm-hmm. So then they changed it enough to do this, and I feel like we should do that.
It makes sense
because it gives it a triangulation support. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have something supporting it, if you go over a ditch or something, or you go down, mm-hmm. and the operator's thrown back and forth like that, he's going to
break that back.
Oh, he's going to bend it.
Yeah, that too.
But if we tie each, now the middle, we can leave the middle because this doesn't even show one in the middle. It shows two cushions, and of course it doesn't show the tie-down straps on either one that were obviously you can see in this picture.
The strap's right here.
Yeah.
And right there.
Anyway, that's what I plan to do, is make it more where it bolts to the side pieces that we have out there and goes up to this.
Okay. All right, so we've gotten all the rivets done. Only a handful of them look really good, and how I wanted it to. We did miss one right here, but we got all those down. So Dad's drilling the holes in the hinges for us to rivet those on. There's going to be 3 right here and 3 right here. So we'll do that, and then we should be done. Okay, so we got the metal piece on, so we're gonna go ahead and rivet these on, and then we forgot to drill a hole for this bottom one, so we're gonna drill that hole and on the other one too.
We might have to weld that one because it's going to hit the angle iron. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened with my pilot hole.
All right, let's close it and we'll weld that.
Hey, what you could do is tack weld the plate on and then cut the head of a rivet off and melt it onto the weld.
Okay. Sounds like a good idea.
So we're cutting off the head of a rivet. Can't you just heat this up really hot and then stick that on it?
And then you'll see the weld.
No. Just heat it up and stick that on.
You can glue it. GB weld it. Either that or I can just build up weld and we'll make a rivet.
No, that won't be as good.
Why?
Because it won't look the same.
Well, that's to be determined.
So we got everything, all the rivets in, hinges on, temporary welds, well, permanent welds, but temporary
Oh, the latch.
planning. Do you have lashes?
Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna work.
These gonna be riveted on too?
I don't know.
This is most different. Because on here it's just a single.
Like a U-bolt.
Yeah.
I'll have to get them. I ain't got them.
So besides these latches, we're done on the box, right?
Yeah.
Did you rust this metal up?
Yeah, it's genuine rusted metal.
Okay.
It's been laid outside for a long time. All right, well, today ends another work day that Eli and Daddy and myself had on the Holt. And some things that we accomplished is we got the box assembled. We set Papa's seat up here to make sure it works good. Looks real nice, I think. Something we didn't include in earlier is the ends of the straps for the tanks were pretty bad shape, so we made new ends for that. But other than that, the pressure washing and everything wasn't that exciting, but we included you anyway. So what do you think, Eli?
I think we got a lot done. It took a lot longer to do the box, and it's a lot worse than I was envisioning it to be, but that's my part. So,
well, I hate the little forge didn't heat the rivets up hot enough really to maintain heat, so when you put them in that you could mushroom them out. But we adapted, and we'll put some secret recipe on it, make it rust a little, match the rest of it. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you again next week.